What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Tech Solutions. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about how you can make $100,000 a year. It's a very common question that we get, and it's something I think that a lot of individuals want to achieve. It's just, the six-figure income. There's no surprise, there's no question. I wanted to do it by age 21, and fortunately, because of my hard work and because of how I was able to structure, my income and my multiple sources of income, I was able to achieve it by, or exceed it by age 21. So I'm going to get right into it. This is not the only way that you can make six figures. There's so many different ways on how an individual can achieve, a six-figure income, seven-figure income, especially with the power of the internet and stuff like that. So I'm simply going to be talking about I think a method that might take about 3 to 4 years, but can allow an individual to actually, steadily grow his income to eventually be able to make $100,000 a year. And $100,000 a year, why is it that people want to do that? Well, it's six figures, and as well as it allows you to live a little bit more of a financially free life, and can allow you to do, things with can allow you to do things with, the people that you love, your family, your friends, and, it is a life that can be enjoyed a little bit more as long as you're doing what it is that you love. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and find it useful. So I do want to let you guys know. So I'm within the United States, right? I'm a student here at the ASU Polytechnic campus, and the average income here within the United States, I simply Googled it, and it's $51,939. So that's what the average American makes when it comes down, per year, working a normal base job. So you have to think, wherever it is that you are right now, if you're 18 or if, you're 50, regardless of what your age is, if you don't make about $52,000 a year, then you're making less than the average American. This is something that I always try to encourage. I know it's a little bit more realistic for people that I'm catching at a younger age, but learn the importance of being able to move up in life, especially if you're wanting to have a stable job, and that's something that you want to go for. 100%, there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with always having stable income and on the side doing something that can allow you to express what it is that you love to do and be able to make money on that as well. There's nothing wrong with having a stable income and working, on the side and being able to do multiple things. I want you guys to understand that. I know a lot of people just say, it's like, no, I don't want to work for anyone. I always just want to work for myself and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with working for a corporation as long as you enjoy what it is that you're doing and you're being compensated well to live, a healthy and a fun life. Then 100% all power to you. So you just have to think, hey, if I'm not making $52,000 a year, then 50% of America is actually making more than I am. Well, you're watching this video, there's no question that you're worth more than $52,000 a year. A suggestion that I always have is there's so many commission-based jobs, there's so many jobs that pay so well nowadays, especially, and really depends on the area and the location that you're located at. But commission-based jobs are always the ones that I try to encourage. You can simply Google search, commission-based jobs around your area and see what the annual salary is. You can reach out to individuals that work for those series of companies and see how much it is that they make. Always ask questions. There's nothing wrong with it, even when you get a job that pays, $60,000 a year, and you might be 18 or 20. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to other people and see, what job they work for if they make $80,000 a year. And all I'm trying to encourage is at an early age, it's the best time to move up in life, because once you have a family or once you have a little bit more of a serious life and you have bills that you have to pay, these movements and these transitions aren't going to be as easy. It doesn't mean that they're impossible. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because of the risk involved of leaving one job and moving to the other. And a lot of people, once they start making $50,000-$60,000 a year, they're like, hey, I'm okay with this. That's 100% okay if you are okay with this. But something that I always try to encourage is to try to move up, regardless of what it is that you're doing. Try to always ask questions about what job someone has. You don't have to ask them directly if you feel uncomfortable, but ask them how much it is that they make, and see if there's any area of opportunity, or see if it's something that you would be passionate about. Instead of making $50,000 a year simply by asking a question, I'm sure you're more than qualified, reaching out to them and trying to see if you can schedule an interview. Even if you just got hired, even like 1 month ago, 1 year ago, and you're comfortable in your job, there's nothing wrong with always looking for more opportunity. At least that's my approach, and that's one of the easiest ways to move up, right? Especially if there's no risk involved. You can go from one job, secure the other one, go go to all the interviews, and once you secure the other one, put your 2 weeks on the previous job. And even if you were just there for like a month, a year, regardless of what it is, there's nothing wrong with moving up in life. So that's something that I want to encourage you guys. So let's say, you do make $52,000 a year. $51,939, right? Let's say $52,000. That breaks down to about $4,328.25. Obviously, this is gross, so this is before taxes. But that's a good chunk of change, right? You can do a lot of money. You can do a lot of things with that, especially if you have no expenses. If I'm catching you at a young age, and you're making $52,000 a year, and I'm catching you at age 17, 18, or 19, you were making more money than I was at that specific age. I started making around that much. So if you're making that much, and my goal was to buy my GTR at 21, which I was able to do, you have that same opportunity. It comes down to saving money and minimizing expenses, and it comes down to how much it is that you want to achieve it. So now that you have $52,000 a year guaranteed, right? As long as you continue holding your job and maintaining that, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. And they give themselves too many options on different sources or different markets to invest in. People are always trying to look for the easiest way to make money. I'm going to tell you, regardless of which method people tell you that it's the easiest way to make money, that's definitely not the case. If it was easy to make $100,000 a year, then everyone would be making $100,000 a year. There's no question about that it's not easy. You have to be creative and you have to work for it. So this is, I think, one of the most simplest ways on how to achieve that goal. You're guaranteed $52,000 a year, meaning that there's this margin to hit $100,000. There's this margin of $48,000 that you're missing out on, right? Therefore, how is it that within the next 3 to 4 years you're going to make an extra $48,000 a year? And then that's my job with you, to break it down. So again, these are just numbers. You can break them down on however it is that you want. You make $52,000 a year. There's a margin of $48,000. Therefore, how is it that you're going to make $48,000 within the next 4 years consistently? So one of the first things that I would like to, again, these are just markets that I've invested in. In no way do these need to be the only markets that you invest in or need to invest in whatsoever. But the first one is going to be something that's very simple, especially if I'm catching you at a young age and you have a lot of money to save. It's the buying and reselling of motorcycles or of cars. Just to give you an example, once you get the system down consistently, I say, especially with motorcycles, you need anywhere from around $3,000 to $4,000, depending on the market you're choosing to invest in. I've made numerous videos on that specific market, and simply by reselling 2 motorcycles, if you can be partnered with a dealership, if you simply sell 2 motorcycles a month, I average about $750 profit off of each motorcycle. So even just by reselling 2 motorcycles, you can make a little bit over $1,000 simply by having $3,000 invested. So you can kind of have a quota, right? So for the first month, let's try to just get you going, right? So first thing you have to do is you have to identify a market, right? See what motorcycles you understand, see what markets that you can identify these margins of profit of about anywhere from $500 to $10,000. Therefore, let's say the Yamaha, the Gixxers, and the CBRs. Those are very popular motorcycles, and then you identify this certain age and mileage that you'd like to focus on, that you really understand, and then you kind of go for it, right? This is just up to you if you see value in that. But let's say, for example, when I bought a 2005 Yamaha R6, bought it for $2,900, rode it for a little bit, I dropped it and stuff like that. I crashed. I'm not too sure if you guys remember. I repaired the fairing, and then I relisted it. I relisted it for $3,900, and because of the area, I was able to sell it for $3,600. I think it was like $3,600, and that was after I crashed it. I put $50 into it, so that was decent profit, and that was with one of my first flips. A week later, I bought a Ducati for $6,000, and then 1 week after that, I sold it for $7,000. That was $1,000 profit. 1 week later after that, or a couple days later, I bought a 2004 Honda CBR, and I bought it for $2,900, which then I later flipped for $3,900. So again, another $1,000 profit there. And again, this is just the simple approach of understanding what it is that I'm investing in, making sure that there's this margin of profit, making sure that I understand that it's a good quality motorcycle, and then having the proper partnership set up. You have to make sure that within the area that you're choosing to buy and resell these different products in, that you don't exceed your legal limit. Therefore, you can partner up with a dealership to avoid all those different fees and stuff like that. But there's definitely many ways that you can make an extra $1,000 a month by the buying and reselling of motorcycles and vehicles. And again, this doesn't mean that you have to buy and sell a motorcycle and a vehicle every single month. It's $1,000 average per month, and it doesn't mean that you have to do it consistently every single month. It's just like a quota, right? So if you buy a car and you have a $2,000 profit margin, and it takes you 2 months to sell it, then perfect, you're still on track. But the kind of routine that I want you guys to get in mind is when it comes down to the buying and reselling of different products, by the end of the first year of you, having your normal job, and by the end of the first year of you investing in buying and reselling different products, you should at least be making $1,000 profit, every single month. Understanding that instead of now just making, $4,300 every single month, you're going to be making $5,300 every single month. All right, so now we're up, $1,000. We still have a $3,000 gap per month. How is it that we're going to do that? So that's your first year. Now instead of making $52,000 a year, now you're making $64,000 a year. So you moved up, right? And let's just say throughout these 4 years, your job and the wage stays exactly the same. So now that we're moving on to the next one, another thing that I would like for you guys to understand or be exposed to is the opportunity to invest in real estate. So it was something that I did at the age of 20. And again, this is from my own experience. I moved out here to ASU at the ASU Polytechnic campus. My mortgage, I don't have to give you guys exact figures, but let's just say after renting out 2 of my rooms, I was making a little bit over $1,000, a month, just because of my rental property. I mean, I was going to pay my mortgage anyways, so that was something that I took on. But because of my rental property, right away, I made an extra $1,000. How is it that you can buy a house, with making $62,000 a year? Simply reach out to a real estate agent, simply reach out to a lending company, and ask them, what is it that I need to do to buy my first rental property? I personally suggest a 3-bedroom because, it offers you to live in the master and rent out 2 of the bedrooms, which is, pretty nice. And, you can make an extra $1,000 a year. So now instead of just making $64,000 a year, now you're on track to make $76,000 a year. Now we have a $2,000 gap. Now when you have your rental properties, the buying and reselling of different products, and then you have your stable job, another avenue that you guys can look at is trading. Again, this is just based on my experience, but trading in the stock market. This is going to take you some time to learn on how to invest in the stock market. But if you break it down about $50 a day, 5 days a week, then you can be making an extra $1,000 a year. Obviously, if you're not going to do it right away, when it comes down to having a year to hit that goal at the end of the year, to be making $50 every single day, I don't think that's far-fetched. The average account or the average position that I take is $3,000 to $4,000. You'd have to make anywhere from like 1.7% growth per day on average. So as long as you keep your losses small and you make sure you lock in those margins of profit, I mean, there's a lot that gets into it when it comes down to investing in the stock market, but it definitely is possible. So now that instead of, just having $76,000 a year, now you're looking at more of $88,000 a year, we have $12,000 to go. And this is probably one of the most important parts. You have 3 extra sources of income. You have your stable job, you have your rental properties, and all these different businesses that you've established and that you have going consistently. One of the last things is, do something that you're passionate about. Maybe start your own business. You have a quota of making $1,000 every single month. Make sure that it's something that you truly enjoy. A lot of people, really like helping people out. So if you can formulate a business like that that can be profitable and helping people out, then so be it. If it's something that you're like an artist, then you want to make an extra $1,000 a month, set up a business plan. Identify a market, identify a niche that you understand and can be profitable in, develop a business plan, and then be consistent and go for it. It's no question that you guys watching this video, especially if you've watched it this far, you guys have the potential to be successful. You've already made, $88,000 a year. You have $1,000 more a month that you need to make. You can buy another rental property if that's what you want to do, if you're passionate about real estate, but don't underestimate yourself. And that's all I really want you guys to do. Invest in what you understand the importance of managing risk, and let your passion be what drives you in your success. And simply with that understanding, you're going to be one step closer to making $100,000 a year. So thank you guys again so much for watching. All the links are down in the description. If you guys would like to be a part of Tech With Solutions, the free Facebook group link is down below. We're over 43,000 members now worldwide. Can't thank you guys for everything it is that you guys do. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams. And like always, guys, let your passion be what drives you in your success. Let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.